Good morning. It is an honor and a pleasure to be with you in a great Mississippi tradition. The MEC Hobnob, I'm Larry Bradford, your candidate for state auditor. I am the former mayor of a Delta town called Agwilla, Mississippi, on which you sure have heard about that this state doesn't move without Agwilla. My professional experience has extended beyond borders. I'm a former lending officer, chief financial officer, 25 years of fiscal and investment banking and management. Worked with some of the largest lending agencies across this country. You can find out more about me by visiting my website at www.electlarrybradford.com. I come here today to ask you one question. Considering we're in the largest corruption that our lifetime has seen. They talked about it on CNN. They talked about it on the Washington Post. They talked about it in the Clarion Ledger. They've even spoke about it in Mississippi Today. It is in recent history that the current auditor, Chad White, is either incompetent or is hiding corruption. I shared with a friend of mine the other day. I said, any individual working at a convenience store, when they're leaving and someone is relieving them, they never leave without counting down their draw to make sure all their receipts add up. My problem with the incompetent is why would you be appointed and not have an independent audit done to count down your draw to make sure that our receipts balance? Because whatever mistake that was made by the previous individual, you inherit. Every dime that comes through the state of Mississippi has to come through the state auditor's office, whether foreign or domestic, and every dime should have been accounted for. But yet and still, $77 million seems to be lurking and hoovering and causing a black cloud over the Magnolia state of which we live. Taxpayers pay their taxes. We rise up and we go to work every day expecting a return on our investment. That has not happened. Chad has not done his job. And I'm here to suggest to you that from an economic standpoint, this is an economic disaster. When you deal with economic disasters, you have to understand there's been a failure somewhere in the fiscal management. There's been a failure in leadership, a failure in vision, a failure in direction, a failure in our trajectory. But I'm here to tell you today, on October the 26th, that vision, that narrative is about to change. On November the 7th, you have the opportunity to change the direction of our great state. You have an opportunity to make right every wrong. And we can do that on November the 7th. We cannot afford to not have the right people in the right place at the right time. This is Mississippi's time. We've come through Katrina. We've come through tornadoes. We've come through disasters. And if there's any individual, any person, any state that must rise up, it has to be Mississippians. Now, I understand that for all that money to go unattested, unresolved, that it had to be carried out by a mastermind scheme. Criminal intent to lure the state out of money meant for welfare recipients. And the current state auditor Chad is either hopelessly incompetent, clueless, or he's a part of the corruption. And if Mississippi is going to be open for business, if we're going to broker relationships, if we're going to bring individuals and make sure that Mississippi is open for business, we've got to restore integrity, we've got to restore character, and we've got to let corporations know, both foreign and domestic, that Mississippians are accountable and that we can do business the right way. But you got to have the right leadership in place. Everything rises and falls on leadership. Show me a strong leader in a family, and I'll show you a strong home. Show me a strong leader over any department, whether it's police department or our fire department or any agency, and I'll show you a productive agency. Show me a strong auditor, and I'll show you a taxpayer watchdog that's not a lapdog that would do business and make sure we're ethical, we're transparent, we're accountable, and we are accessible. Mississippi, our doors are open for business. This is our time of economic development, economic resurrection, and we can and we will. As of November the 7th, we'll make that choice. We'll make that decision. I want to leave you with this. As I leave this morning, I want you to imagine. I want you to imagine $77 million of state money gone unaccounted for. I want you to imagine an independent audit that was done after an audit, which we heard nothing about an investigation of $2 million. I want you to imagine paying a yoga instructor $1.3 million. I want you to imagine all of the mismanagement and the malfeasance that have taken place. That's not anybody in good conscience can trust a failure as it relates to the accountability of our funds. So imagine if it was me that was on the end of mismanaging $77 million. Imagine the scrutiny. Imagine the rumors. Imagine if it was me who was issued a demand letter and we see text messages where he's given access to the back office of the auditors. Imagine if it was me. What would happen? How would you feel? What would you say? Mississippians, we have an opportunity to change our trajectory based on feasibility studies, based on our surplus of goods, supplies, and services, based on what we have in reserve, pretty close to about $7 billion. I said either they don't know how to do good business or they're just not doing business with us. When you look at interest rates and negotiating your own rate of return, when you look at opening up a sinking fund account and allowing that money to go there and compounding, there's no reason why education should not be fully funded. There's no reason why hospitals are closing. There's no reason at all why we're talking about removing disciplines from our universities and from our people. There's no reason at all. We deserve better. We would do better. And on November the 7th, I don't want you to meet me at the polls. I want you to beat me to the polls. And I want